You look at the divisions, you look at the NFC and the AFC. The NFC is dominant. They've always been dominant for the last 10 years has been dominated by the NFC. Now you look at all these other players that have jumped ship and gone to the AFC. We talk about the LA Chargers division with the Kansas City Chiefs, that probably the weakest team out of all the out of all the four teams with all the acquisitions that were made. The LA Rams adding obviously the firepower they did with Allen Robinson and now Bob Wagner. I mean, this was a Super Bowl contending team, and they going into the offseason after winning the Super Bowl. The Las Vegas Raiders adding Devontae Adams. I mean, and some of the acquisitions they made in free agency, they've made a load, and they added a new coach in Josh McDaniels, who's an offensive-minded coach. Maybe it helps Derek Carr. And then Russell Wilson going to the Broncos. Tyreek Hill going to the Dolphins. And then obviously one of the best safeties in all of football, going to the Baltimore Ravens, and obviously Buffalo getting Von Miller. I mean, you look at the AFC, it's gotten better and better and better and better, and the NFC is really weak. It's a 4-team, league now in the NFC. When you look at the Rams, San Francisco, I guess you could say the Green Bay Packers and Tampa Bay, and nobody in the NFC East really stands out to me. Whoever comes out of that division is probably going to get eliminated in the first round. So are you surprised that the NFC has just completely, they're gone? I mean, it's relinquished. It's not what it used to be.
No, I mean, it's really just, it comes down to the quarterbacks at this point. Like if you look at some of the guys that have jumped ship and gone to the AFC, or a bunch of the young up and coming quarterbacks that have just blossomed into the top 5, top 7-ish options in the league. It's just insane how deep the quarterback position is there. And even adding wily veterans like Matty Ice from the Falcons to the Colts, like that gives them a better option as well. So even like the bottom end quarterback play in the AFC, it just on paper looks way better than a bunch of the confusing situations in the NFC. So I think it really at the most basic level comes down to the quarterback play and the depth in the AFC there. Yes.
Travis,
all those
listen
other
to
acquisitions
this.
you mentioned. It's a big deal.
Listen
to
this.
Man, like quarterbacks, that's where it begins and ends.
Travis, you just mentioned quarterbacks. So I just want to go through the AFC out of all the teams, and I'm going to name every single quarterback in the AFC. The Bills, Josh Allen. Patriots, Mac Jones. Dolphins, Tua. Jets, Zach Wilson. Bengals, Joe Burrow. Steelers, Mitchell Trubisky. Browns, Deshaun Watson. Ravens, Lamar Jackson. Titans, Tannehill. Colts, now Matt Ryan. Texans, Mills. Jaguars, obviously Trevor Lawrence. Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. Oakland, whatever they are. Vegas, Derek Carr. Chargers, Justin Herbert. And the Broncos, Russell Wilson. I mean, even the bad teams, I think the worst quarterback out of the bunch is Tua or Mitchell Trubisky. Okay, to me, it's just ridiculous what the AFC is holding. You just mentioned it's all about the quarterback. Every one of these teams, even the young quarterbacks that are developing, it's crazy. It's sick. It's not fair.
No, it really isn't. And I think Trubisky might get replaced in the draft, and but besides that, like I think everyone else is pretty much set. Like they either have their young guy that they're going to trust, or they have a veteran option that they can go to. That might not be super sexy. Like even Titans fans are a little bit tired of Ryan Tannehill. Throwing 3 picks in this year's elimination game for them wasn't great. But even that situation, it's like he's been efficient and good. So not many questions there. So that helps the depth there and really hurts most teams that want to have a hopeful run
the
for
Jets.
the playoffs because
Just
it's
say
more
it, the
competitive than
Jets.
ever. Oh,
Just say the Jets. Yeah.
Well, that's been the case for like
50 years.
But,
50 years. I'm a Jet fan.
What else is new?
So I wanted to ask, because you're a Titans fan, 2 things. Ryan Tannehill, like you mentioned, a lot of Titans fans definitely concerned with him, especially with the contract that he got, really struggling in the playoffs since he's gotten with the Titans. And then Derrick Henry last year had been phenomenal throughout his career, but got a big injury last year. And for somebody of his body type and a running back as it is, the way it's going in this league, are you worried about something like that? So Tannehill and Henry, how should the Titans approach that going forward long term?
It's probably not going to be a long term thing. Like Tannehill and Henry probably have 2 more really solid peak years. I mean, Derrick Henry's an alien, so he might play till he's 40. But I mean, I remember the conversations with him. Like he was a 5-star kid, breaking every record imaginable in Florida or whatever, and he was getting like 400 carries a year or something silly. Like, and even in his final year at Alabama, he seriously had almost 400 carries, and people were like, "Oh man, the tread on the tires is gonna be worn off," and here he is, just still looking the same and just crushing people's souls. So I have no idea how long that's gonna last. It might last 15 more years. It might last 2 because that's how running backs go.
Well, look at Adrian
I don't
Peterson.
Think they're gonna have to pivot, after probably 2 or 3 more years.
You look at Adrian Peterson. I mean, he's played forever. He's still playing in the league. So maybe he's another
the Titans last year.
So I wouldn't doubt it. But as everybody knows, we are talking to RotoViz football analyst and College to Canton podcast host Travis May. One more question for me, and I mean this whole Tom Brady thing. And Tom Brady retires. Everybody thought, all right, it's over for the GOAT, whatever they call him, the greatest of all time. And now he comes back. He goes to Ronaldo game, and then 24 hours he puts up a post on Twitter that he's coming back. And now all of a sudden, within a week and a half, 2 weeks after coming back from retirement, Bruce Arians decides to step down and gives the reins to Todd Bowles. Do you think that has anything to do with Tom Brady, one? And do you think that Tom Brady, of all these rumors, which I thought was going to happen when he did come back, all these rumors with Tyreek Hill going to Miami, and Miami having Gesicki and all these other offensive, powerful players that they have over there, do you think he flees Tampa and gets traded to go to Miami?
No, I don't think that last part's going to be it. But I do think, I think there was smoke last year that Brady and Arians didn't really like each other. Mm-hmm. And so if you're talking about the greatest of all time coming in, like, look, man, I'm going to come back and maybe give you guys another shot at the Super Bowl, but I'm not dealing with that guy. I think, maybe not. Maybe, like it seemed like there was a genuine, when Arians was given his presser, Brady was there. It seemed like Brady was like, oh, yeah, yeah, we're good. But it could be just for show because he doesn't want to look like that guy. So I could definitely see that there'd be something like Brady's like, I'm coming back, but I'm not dealing with Arians again. We're going to do something different. And if we're going to make it back, and they're going to listen to him because the dude's got like 80,000 passing yards and all of the Super. I think last time, all of the Super Bowls. I think he's won all of them.
He's been to what, 11, 10? I mean,
he's been to 10, won 7.
He as an individual has more Super Bowls than any team in NFL history.
It's ridiculous.
So
that's ridiculous.
That's normal.
So my last question, just one college football question. The debate has been raging whether to expand the college football playoff, how many teams. So where do you stand on that debate?
Oh, that's going to happen for sure. Like, it's not a matter of like if, it's a matter of when. And I think 12 is great. We don't need a March Madness. Like, I don't want to see, I don't want to see. Let's see, I don't want to see
60
Marshall.
Some games.
I don't think we need to see Marshall face off against Alabama. Like that's not a thing that. That's just murder. Like we're televising murder there at that point. So I think 12 is great.
We'll call that the butt bowl.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just given the structure of college football as it is, it's constantly changing right now. But there's like 4 real power conferences. It is quote unquote Power 5, but like the Big 12 is not really going to be that here soon. And so given what they all want. They all have a say. All the big conferences have a say for the money and like what works as far as automatic qualifiers and everything. So I think it just works. You can get the Power 5 plus 1 Group of 5 conference champion making it, and then 6 at large bids, and then actually work in some home games to the early rounds of the playoff. I think that would be huge. It's going to be awesome. And really, for those of you who have not really been paying attention to college football for forever, it's all going to come down to what the Rose Bowl does, because the Rose Bowl has been the issue. Like, they have to have their game at this time, this place, blah, blah, blah. The sun has to set at this time, blah, blah, blah. We're just an annoying group of old people that love the game or whatever. And they're going to have to come off that because they're going to get left on an island finally, hopefully.
We could only
they're
hope.
Gonna have to just catch. Yeah, they're just going to have to catch up and just be like, hey, look, we're just going to make boatloads of money and it's going to be fine. So yeah, it's probably gonna be 12 teams here by 2026.
Well, they're finally letting these college players actually make some money, so that's a good sign. I mean, with everything that's happened over the years, I've always said that college players should be making money off their own name. Why are they making money? Why is the school making money off these players' names and they can't make money off their own names? And then they go into they never get a college, they don't finish a college education. They go into the NFL and they never finish it. And it's not fair to them. They're making these colleges millions and millions of dollars with these bowl games. I know exactly, but I would think that if you're playing in a bowl game, you're making 10 to 15 million off that bowl game. So I think that these players should be making money. And finally, the college, collegiate, NCAA is opening their eyes and saying, you know what? Let these guys make money. They deserve it.
Yeah, and it's great. It's a mess also right now because like we've got kids that are, juniors in high school right now. Allegedly, it's not a sure thing, but it's pretty much like everyone knows that Nico Iamaleava, Nico Iamaleava, California kid, 5-star for the 2023 class, recently allegedly just signed like an $8 million deal or up to an $8 million deal. And so it is funny to see how just quickly that's jumped off the deep end into giving kind of crazy bonkers money to these kids from these collectives that aren't officially affiliated with the university, but they are. It's just kind of funny because it's like this has been happening, but now it's okay, but it's also weird. I don't know. It's going to have to be regulated at some point, or maybe people realize, hey, after 5 or 6 of these 5-stars bust and we just threw $8 million down the toilet, that maybe that's not a great idea to bet on a 16-year-old. But it's just so many things going on, and I love it actually because it's chaos and it's always something to talk about.
Absolutely,
and it's fun, but it's also good because like when a kid loses his scholarship because he has a YouTube channel and he's like the kicker for his college team. That's a problem. Like that's a legit real example. A kicker was forced to, hey, I know you're making money on the side. You have to shut this down and not do this anymore. We're going to take away your scholarship. And he's like, okay, bye. and so it's just like, and like a couple other examples, kids out, I think it was out in Utah or Colorado. They like want to just make a rap album and make some money off of that. And just because they were on the team and they were affiliated with the team, they weren't even like promoting that, this is through the team, this through, nothing like that. They just, because they were like making money off of their own brand, they had to forfeit their scholarship as well. So it's like, it's just stupid stuff. The system was so broken for so long. So it's refreshing to see the chaos actually. So
Travis, why don't you tell the fans how they can find you on social media?
The best place to follow me, interact with me, is on Twitter at @FF_Travis M. That's where I spend a lot of my time. I'm in way too many group chats and a bunch of Discords here and there, but just find me on Twitter and we'll go from there. But definitely check out all my stuff at RotoViz and solidverbal.com and the College to Kenton podcast with my buddy Stefan.
Well, whenever the draft is over, we'll definitely get you on again. You're great. You gave us some good information when it comes to the draft and even your thoughts what's going on with the open NFL. And I mean open NFL with the way the NFL is just falling, from the NFC to the AFC, just the powerhouses in the AFC. It's ridiculous. As a Jet fan, I'm not excited about it because I finally said, hey, we got a quarterback. Maybe he is the future of this team. But what does that tell you when you look at all these other teams powerhousing, blowing up now and adding new players, and that doesn't benefit for the Jets. So as a Jet fan, I'm not very excited moving forward.
I will say, though, I really like Elijah Moore. I was pumped for him that he got more of an alpha look down the stretch, like they really leaned on him. And I think even if they don't add a wide receiver like you probably want them to early, he can be that. Like he was that at Ole Miss. And I really fully believe in his skill set. He's got the NFL, what was he, a 4.32 kind of speedster, but also run after catch guy, just really balanced player. So I think that the foundation is there for you guys. And hopefully, your starting tight end is not going to be Ryan Griffin this year. So congrats on that. So you guys will piece it together.
Thank you very much, Travis. We really appreciate you joining us, and we'll definitely talk to you soon, my friend.
Yeah, you guys take care. Thanks for having me.